Salutations, comrades. Oh, that probably didn't sound
Hello,
good.
comrades. In Russia, the moose hunts you.
We probably have haters who are like, we always knew they were
Right.
communists. It's like,
Bunch of hammer and sickle queers over there, playing video games and such. We started our stream in the middle of me munching a carrot here, and some homemade hummus. Only it's not really hummus, or maybe it is hummus. I don't know if it has to be a specific bean like chickpea to be considered hummus, or if you just, I guess, bean dip, taco flavored bean dip.
healthy.
Yeah, because we're men.
Manly men.
We're men in tights. But yes, welcome on back to Power Keg Greg's channel for another rousing episode of Hot Button Co-op this Friday Eve, the 4th in the year of our Lord 2022. Lots of interesting things going on this last week there, Greg.
Isn't it? Wait a minute. Isn't it the year of the... I thought that was like the whole...
Is it Year of the Tiger? I don't know why. I'm thinking it's Year of the Rat, but I'm probably incorrect. Didn't Chinese New Year just go by too? I know theirs is, I think it's like 27th of January or something like that.
There you go.
Anyway, name of the game today is Halo
Yeah,
ODST.
actually February 1st. Yeah, it is the year of the tiger.
Well, all right. Oh, dude, speaking of Tiger, I guess they're actually making a TV show that's going to be centered around Joe Exotic and Carol Baskins, but not like a docu-series, an actual, I'd say, dramedy.
Well, that sounds like a hoot and a holler.
Right. Hopefully they got the girl that's inside the music videos that Joe was doing of Carol Baskins, because she looked really, really spot on.
Nice.
All right.
We have to switch controls. I wonder, is it like... I wonder if we can switch controls to like the more up-to-date stuff.
See, I think this is going to have the control scheme of Halo 3. At least it should. And interesting thing about this game is we are now playing as the ODSTs. We're playing as the Hell Jumpers. So the weapons that you use, they're smaller arms, so it takes longer to kill certain enemies with them, save for like the rocket launcher, or if we pick up like a Gauss Warthog or something of that nature. But the pistol itself is awesome because it has a lot more ammunition, and we're back to being able to zoom in on it. Well, we also, I believe, have health inside this game again.
Yeah, I just noticed I have to collect some.
Oh yeah, and we can see an infrared too. That's so cool. And this, to my knowledge, is the first open world-esque Halo game that ever existed. I remember when this came out back in college, playing this. This is where we had, oh goodness, where we had a firefight first made its appearance. That fantastic game mode. This is where we have the silenced SMG that we can scope up on. Oh, hey, look, more brutes. The brute. Yeah, and I think our pistols here are like 9mm. They're not nearly as strong as the Chief's gun in Halo 1.
It makes me sad.
But it's good. It's an extra level of challenge. I mean that we are human people. We're ODSTs. We're the orbital drop shock troopers. We're the Hell Jumpers. But yeah, so how did delivering go this week, Greg? I know that we missed a day because of the snowpocalypse here.
Today went pretty good. Unfortunately, like I was talking about a little bit earlier before we started,
Yes.
that the tipping and like the total of income you would get per delivery could actually just be this the other day.
Sure.
And unfortunately, it's just due because of the weather that, you know, people are being a little bit more gracious about it, which I'm always blessed of whatever good deal I can find. A bit more, obviously, I think that. And it did go well, but of course, because of the snow and for us, obviously, us Northerners, this is like any other day for us. But because we're in good old Texas, they do not salt the roads or anything. The best they do is, it looks like they literally just throw sand. And so they would only sand the intersections where lights are, which makes sense.
Sure.
But other than that, it's just the roads get plowed by people who just drive through them, where they just keep playing the tire tracks until kind of push everything away and then let the sun melt it.
Outstanding. Well,
wait a minute. Why is that saying?
Was it saying what?
What do you do?
I am
Looking at the map.
Yeah, I'm going through our little.
Our intel.
As you go through all this, is the beginning stuff where it's like, hey, here's how you play your game. Look at that, completed an objective. Holy crap! Gosh. Okay, so now we have to go and search Tayari Plaza.
I am blessed to have gotten at my quota.
Good. Very, very good.
These past few weeks have been kind of crappy. Luckily, I've gotten at the quota live per se. Obviously, not the one like the ones I make. I say like, okay, I didn't like to have this in a day, but if worst case scenario, I can make this.
Sure.
Made that work a couple of days these past 2 weeks. Obviously, wish it could have been more, but what?
Well,
Yourself?
let's see. This week, I also decided to, well, I was finally reinstated on Spark, so that was nice. Being able to go out and make some deliveries and earn a little extra scratch because I am in need. It was a decent enough week starting out, and then it quickly devolved as we had our storm, the main brunt of it yesterday, but the days leading up to it, they were a little erratic when it came to delivering, at least for Spark anyway. I want to say on Wednesday, I was stuck having to sit for 35 up to 40 minutes for the people who put the deliveries together through the app to come out and load my car up for me. So that was a bit annoying. And then the final one, it was about an hour. It was just past an hour and 15 minutes, and they still had not come to load me up. And I finally just called up the HQ and I said, nope, I can't stick around here and keep waiting on this. And the tech support guy, he was really, really gracious. He's like, oh yes, no, this is absolutely unacceptable. I will go ahead and take care of this right now. I will cancel it. You'll still be paid for showing up. I'm like, cool, I'll be paid for showing up. Perfect. But Bolt Castles. Oh, oh, wonderful. Oh, anyway, yeah, so they ended up paying me for my time and actually showing up because it was the store's fault that they just weren't able to accommodate all the orders that came in. But what I found to be really interesting was that you had people that were showing up on either side of me, pulling into the various parking spots for picking up groceries, and they were getting loaded up and then just taking off. Now, I know that my order was a larger one that I was picking up, or at least it said so on my app. And I feel like they were just doing the small, easy orders to get those cleared out instead of taking the orders in the order that they actually were called in or placed. So I got hung out to dry, just sitting there waiting. Finally, it was already past my time that I usually go out to head on back. And I was like, yep, I'm not gonna stick around for this.
Yeah, that's always the trade-off.
Such is life.
It's always the trade-off when that comes to the thing is how long you want. Nope, not worth the time, because unfortunately those sort of side gigs, your time is your money.
Yeah.
You have to make it to where it's, I could have done something.
Yeah, so be more productive with my time. But at least
a flashlight.
I think hit your X button. It gives you sort of a thermal imaging of everything. But yeah, all in all, it was all right because I got to listen to some podcasts and I got to read a little bit and just kind of hung out. But still, it was a bit frustrating trying to make that hourly that you can, given that you're having just a regular average delivery day. But that got made a little bit impossible due to so many people placing orders and so many people freaking out because they waited to the last moment to stock up on their non-perishables for Snowmageddon.
Even though it's like one day, because a lot of the street already melted.
Yep. Very much so. But all right, so into the fun, the fun stories of the week. There are a few. Have you been keeping up on the old Truckin' for Freedom convoy up there in Canada?
I have, yeah. I actually just saw a very heartwarming video. Apparently, a girl. Oh, I saw two. I saw one where apparently people from, say, Poland,
Okay.
maybe, some foreigners who actually lived under communist dictatorship. They brought in. It might have to tie with you. Do you have a note on GoFundMe?
I just
They're being a bunch of cucks.
I just heard about that
Yeah.
just before I came over.
So part of that was obviously going to go towards their food and whatnot. But two things. One, a video of people who actually experienced communism. They brought in a van that was filled with sausage and rolls to give out to the truckers. And then I saw another one of a guy showcasing family with a little girl who baked a bunch of cookies and just gave them to customers and wrote like a little and gave it to them.
Wow. Yeah, I heard that the dollar figure that GoFundMe stole from the money that was donated in for these truckers is around, or is a figure of $9 million. And Trudeau said told GoFundMe to donate it to essentially, what's the word? Less confrontational, charities, or I guess more
Poor people.
more charities that are not aligned with the truckers who've been trucking for freedom. So he more or less said, hey, spread this money around. And so this is what I heard is sort of a get back at GoFundMe, is those who had donated money who, they tried to give to the trucker convoy and it was taken away and located differently. You can put in a request in which you're essentially, I think, able to appeal or get to the bottom of what happened with it all. And doing that costs GoFundMe, I believe, minimum of $15 to do. Charge back. Because they're not allowing people, they're not giving the donations that people donated to the truckers back to them. They're instead taking it and doing as Trudeau told to do and giving them to different charities that are on the platform.
Really disgusting.
Yeah, it's absolutely gross. And I really hope that there is legal action taken against GoFundMe, because this is atrocious and definitely against the law. They should be ashamed of themselves.
Well, it was the same thing with the Rittenhouse, because Rittenhouse had his thing under GoFundMe, tried to do that stuff, but luckily, unfortunately, I think it's because Kyle was actually court to where they were like, I don't think we can do anything because if he wins, he could come back and try. Which I hope he does.
Oh yeah,
I hope
he absolutely should.
I hope everything that's any news outlet that slandered Kyle, hope he takes defamation.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it behooves him to do so. Is this whole idea that there's no objective truth anymore, this idea that people have to kowtow and yield to these oppressive mindseted people who are fighting so hard to gain the upper hand in this information war that they're forcing people to go along with lies that they know full well are lies. And
Hey, G-Voss, what's up?
It is gross. It really, really, it's really, really aggravating to see.
Didn't know that that could happen last time I used that platform for sure. Oh yeah.
Yeah, I won't be putting any money into GoFundMe for anything ever again.
Nope. Only thing possible would be like at that point.
Yeah, they already have their war chest on there.
Yeah, it's too. Yeah, the alternative is go gifts.
Yeah, give go send or something like that.
Give go, yeah.
Give send go.
Give send go, yeah.
Yeah.
But that one is the alternative for that one.
Yeah, these people they should be sued for sure. It really is. It's so unnerving because you have right now this propagandistic war, sort of like what Hitler and Goebbels did back during World War II, and that was to just completely inundate the people with the lie over and over and over and over and over and over. And the people knew that the lie was in fact a lie, but it's you wear them down, and that lie ends up getting solidified as truth inside their minds. And you have people right now that we all can see, we all know which way the wind is blowing, and people know that what they're being told is untrue. They know that, but they're being forced to go along with everybody else who is of a bad acting nature. They're being forced to go along with them as they act as though the lie is in fact truth. It's like if for somebody's feelings, you told me, hey Eric, tomorrow we have to pretend like it's the rain that's supposed to be coming is actually going to be root beer, and every natural body of water in the entirety of the U.S. is actually made of sugar water. We're going to tell that to this little kid because he can't deal with the world any other way. And then all of us involved knowing that it's untrue, but for the sake of this retarded kid having to go along with this idea that, oh yeah, it's going to rain root beer and every single natural body of water is made of sugar water because this kid can't handle reality. And we're like that's what you see going on. People being forced to have to go along with these sadistic narratives that everybody knows are untrue, but we're having to pretend and act as though they are true.
Water. Sugar, and water. More.
Yeah, it's
Tiger,
kind
you're
of
hanging off.
all of our Men in Black 1 and 2 fans. Not number 4. I guess number 3, even, because number 3 had Josh Brolin, and he's awesome. Agent K, his young man, taking down.
I don't think I ever saw number 3. I think I gave up after.
Number 3 was good. Number 3 really was. I enjoyed it a lot. So anyway, yeah, that's really, really gross that they would do that to those people who donated to an otherwise holy cause of freedom trucking. So moving on, I guess, from what the protest was initially about, because so many people, they say, oh, you know, these truckers, people involved, they are all anti-vaxxers. And there was actually, I guess the front man, or one of the front men for the entire convoy or platoon of truckers, if you will. And he actually spoke with Crowder. I think it was either yesterday or the day before yesterday. And I think it was yesterday. I think you're right. But anyway, he made it very, very, very clear on no uncertain terms that, look, this is not about being anti-vaccinations. This is not about that at all. This is about being anti-mandate. Being forced to put something in your body that is still an experimental drug, that is still not fully validated and on the market, as though it's been through all the testing that's been needed for it to be given the green light by the FDA. So that was where they stood on it. And what's really also interesting is we heard so long these talks about, the getting herd immunity and getting to a degree where we're not going to have such severe symptoms anymore for anybody who gets or contracts this illness. And much like the cold, you see, because the cold is a virus, it's a rhinovirus, but you see this virus mutating, and the Omicron variant especially, being that it's now kind of dumbed down to where herd immunity is a definite possible thing that could actually be attained, there's actually now, because the nature of viruses are to mutate, there's 50 different variants now of Omicron that they have on the records now. Which I know it sounds like, oh no, crap, that's the next thing for me to be afraid of. But given that Omicron, even though it is more infectious, it is also way less lethal, I would say we can count that as a win.
Yeah, I mean, and people called it when Omicron came out, even Delta, where they knew it was just they're gonna keep doing it every time. Every time there's a new variant, hike up the fear.
Yep, and
I think Omicron is starting to probably at the point where people are like, no, like this, we're seeing through the bullshit. Like you can't keep doing this.
And that's a thing, because people they know the truth, but they're being told this lie, and then all their political figures that are supposed to be running their country, with our main focus in mind, which is life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, they're watching their political figures run the country as though we are living under an absolutely catastrophic pandemic that is still claiming untold numbers of lives, when everybody knows that that's not what's happening. Everybody knows that that is not the truth. But we're watching all of our politicians and our leftist media organizations act as though it is, and pretend as though it is. They're all wearing their masks, and they're telling everybody, oh, you've got to do X, Y, and Z to protect yourself and protect grandma and your kids and your posterity. And everyone knows the truth, and they're still watching these buffoons carry out the lie. It's completely, it's a completely unlivable existence, and these people, they need to be tried. They need to be tried.
Court-martialed?
Yeah, definitely court-martialed. They need to be tried for crimes against humanity.
Drawn and quartered?
Drawn and quartered, you know, I could do with some of that. But for those who actually have acted treasonistically, which, let's be honest, over the last 3 years, there are a bunch. My prescription would be execution, for sure. And I'm not even kidding about that. That is long-standing been the price of treason, and I think it's more than warranted in the wake of all the catastrophic lies that have been told that have cost so many people their lives and their health.
Yeah, it's absolutely.
Yeah,
public execution. If anything.
Yeah, bring it on back. Bring back the old
that
gallows.
Yeah, bring that guillotine back. I want to see that axe.
Yeah, and now let's bring back the gallows that were of biblical times, which was actually a spike that you were put on and lowered down onto. We're talking Vlad the Impaler style.
Oh yeah, that was the Persian set.
Yeah,
right?
Yes, it was, I believe.
And it was picked up by the Romans.
Yep. This is correct. But I guess more to funny news, if you see the waypoint. I keep forgetting I don't have the
damage.
I don't have the ability to survive a fall like Chief does. But Joe Rogan defended his podcast. He had a pretty good and measured announcement the other day, which I really enjoyed. You have more people standing alongside of Neil, essentially, or joining him in the Moron Olympics that is our social media networks. What is this?
I'm just loving it says we have to find a cash drop.
Cash drop. Oh, okay.
Gotta find that somewhere.
I see. I forgot you can push up on the D-pad and it gives you a hint. Which
that's convenient.
Why wouldn't I just keep doing that?
Yes.
Oh, it's a cache, like a weapon cache. I get you. I'm looking around for money right now. But so yeah, he defends it, and this is what I thought was really, really interesting. You had other people that were other social figures that also are, I guess, content creators for the Spotify as well. Some in support, some against. But what I thought was really, really stupid was Harry and Meghan come out with this really, really cheeky response, this cheeky announcement. This really, really what's the word? Semi-coherent
was that?
post,
You ever seen one?
more or less saying that they
Romeo, you got
they
your
think
ears
that there needs to be
on?
action taken against misinformation
Permission to speak.
and
Smart
talking about their displeasure
No,
with
I don't
Spotify, and
but it was
I think they
good
were
for
trying to
your
semi-hint that, oh, maybe we'll have to pull our stuff off here too if they're going
Wait,
to
who said this?
Harry and Meghan, the
Oh,
royal couple of the century.
oh, wonderful.
But they more or less were hinting like, oh yeah, we're so displeased, like I don't even know if we can keep our content on Spotify, which to my understanding they've done one 35-minute episode to which they were paid over $300 per minute for. They have a deal with Spotify that was set up around last year, like the beginning of the year last year, around this time, or possibly even earlier, and it was to the tune of something like $18 million. And it was for them to produce content for Spotify, whatever, you know, their, I guess, if it was going to be music or podcast or what have you. They did one episode for their podcast and nothing else since on Spotify. And you got Spotify essentially sitting around going, okay, you're on the books now for this huge deal of money. Where's all the content that we're being promised? We're hosting you guys exclusively on here, and you're giving us nothing. So it's like you almost look at Harry and Meghan making this announcement. Oh yeah, I can't believe that they would share this kind of information and allow somebody who's going to misrepresent what's going on with COVID to exist on their platform. Oh, we might have to go somewhere else. It's like, Meghan and Harry, first off, no one's going to miss you if you do go somewhere else. And the idea that you think that you're of the same caliber that Joe Rogan is, who has more hits per episode than any news organization has in a single day, yay, even a single week. If you think that you're going to be able to throw your raucous weight around, you are sadly mistaken, and you are living in a grand delusion of your own making. Shame on you. Bury your head in the sand, because you have outlived your welcome literally everywhere. And I guess the second point I would have to say is...
Oh, that was only
that was
only
the first
one
point.
point.
That was the first point. And the second
Oh, okay.
The second point is...
I thought that one was a pretty good ender on.
Well, second point is, if you made a deal for
With the devil?
umpteen millions of dollars to produce content for a platform that you are not producing content for in the interval that was agreed upon or was expected of you, and you're now pretending as though you are and are of a mind to possibly go somewhere else with your platinum-esque or gold-like content that's, I guess, going to tickle the ears and the oral taste buds, as it were, then again, you are living a very, very diluted existence, but you're also swindling these people for money that should be returned because you have failed to keep your end of the bargain up. And I guess point 3 would be, no one in their right mind likes you or what you do. Harry used to be the golden boy of the royal family, but he has essentially been pansified by his wife. She has broken him down, and she has remade him in her image, which is really, really sad to see.
I've never understood anything about royalty.
Well, there's
I personally don't get it. I mean,
yeah,
people can enjoy it however they wish. I don't get it.
yeah. There's a lot of people for whom there is still quite an allure about the pageantry that goes along with being a working royal inside the inside Britain. And for the actual working royals, like take William and Kate, they do so much for charity, so much for charitable organizations. Like, they are actually out there working with foundations, setting up their own even, and they're trying to make the world a better place.
Got your celery.
Oh boy. I don't have any hair on it. Nice. But they're a working couple, and that's what the royals are supposed to be. They don't quite have the hand in politics that they once used to, even though the Queen, I guess, is supposed to have some kind of say parliamentary, in the parliamentary sphere. I don't know that she does anymore.
Lunaraptor, hey, what's up?
Kylie could definitely tell us more on that whole front because she's very much invested
That's
in
her,
it. It's her shtick.
her niche.
But what's expected of a working royal is that you serve your country, that you do all that you can to make a life for the citizenry there better, and you give of yourself and of your time. You're under a constant microscope, but that's essentially part of being a royal. You're scrutinized very harshly for everything, and it comes with the territory. So
And then
either
beaten?
yeah, yes, then beaten to within an inch of your life and made to kneel in rice while somebody beats you even harder with a frozen steak.
This will teach you to fuck up.
But anyway, that, as I said, that is what is expected of the royals, and so you can either say, yeah, this is for having all the glitz and the glam and the perks that I have, being able to travel the world, meet famous people, eat of the fanciest cuisine, the richest foods, the best booze, and be able to enjoy this glamorous life in the public eye. My duty to my country is just that, to serve them, and to pretty much with every working breath that I have, try and make this world a better place. And Meghan and Harry, they turned tail and they fled
Dropping
Britain,
the ball.
and they moved over here, and it seems like
Oh, they're over here?
they're over here now, yes. They also have a deal worked out with Netflix, which no content for Netflix either. So I don't know how much longer Netflix will keep them on their roster. I don't know how much longer you'll see Spotify try and keep them on, because they're not making good on the deal, and they're really wearing out their welcome wherever they come.
I dropped Netflix so pretty quickly.
Yeah.
After I realized that there's nothing much anymore.
Yeah, everything has to make some kind of political agenda-esque message and has to take a stance this way or a stance that way. It's like people have lost the ability to even just enjoy entertainment, like what we're doing right now. I can't tell you the last thing that was said on any of the cutscenes here, but I know I'm having a lot of fun killing aliens.
For sure. Well, I guess transitioning off of Netflix, you made a post about it on Twitter a couple days ago, I think yesterday. But and also, seeing as how we are playing Halo, how disappointed are you that after the trailer review of the Halo series that it looks like it's going to be hot garbage?
I am really, really disappointed, because for the longest time we wanted a Halo movie, and there was the Peter Jackson was supposed to be working on it, and it's like, wow, this is going to be incredible. It's Jackson. He's got Weta behind him, which is the studio that does all the awesome CGI animations and stuff, that did it for the Lord of the Rings series and for King Kong, the one that he did. So you're thinking, oh my gosh, this is going to be amazing. This is going to be literally everything we've ever dreamed of, everything we've wanted out of Halo. And then that got postponed indefinitely. Really, really sucks that happened, but it got postponed. And then
Accidentally skip a cutscene? Like a guy stepping.
I think it's going to come back here in a second. Probably has to load it. But then to see them throw up online, and I'm going to go to the actual image so I can read it verbatim what it's talking about. Now, somebody suggested that, oh, this is probably a meme, but it seems like it's been corroborated. But it says, not only is the main protagonist, this is of the show now, the Halo show, not only is the main protagonist a 16-year-old Asian girl, but two of the three Spartans, I guess two of the three main Spartans, are also described to be kick-ass female soldiers. Kai 125, played by Kate Kennedy, and Riz 028, played by Natasha Kulzak. The producers decided to take it even one step further and, quote, kick the so-called patriarchy in the balls, end quote, by having Maki, a female antagonist, reportedly easily defeat Master Chief in a battle. It will be up to Quan Ah to save Master Chief's life and defeat Maki and save the world. I'm not enthused for it. I'm not enthused at all for it. When all people have been wanting to see, all people have been asking to see is, hey, can you just take what already exists, the incredible story that we have already, and make a show about that? Can you do that for us without mucking the whole thing up and ruining all of our favorite things? Can you just manage to do that? Because that's what we want.
Well, it's like what I posted on your feed, and also what I've been saying with pretty much anything. It's at this point they're not trying to hide it anymore. To where this isn't about supporting the series, it's about retconning a supposed grave injustice, which it always seems to be the lack of female empowerment.
Yeah,
in any
that
of the
tokenization
series.
of the fairer sex, as it were.
And it's like what you said. Like, there's already like amazing kick-ass Spartans.
Yeah,
Already out there.
yeah. Two female Spartans are on John's team. They're on. They're on.
But
Blue
again,
team.
see, that's the thing. They're trying to retcon this to where, one, the original series doesn't exist, and if anyone happens to know, it's like, oh, well, they probably will see the retcon one and be like, oh, well, I think I like this one, even though the original where this is based on is good. It's like, no, that's not how that works.
Yeah, it's why people get so infuriated when they see a movie that is based off a book, and the movie itself totally bastardizes what the original intent of the book was.
Yvonne says, wow, that definitely sounds like hot garbage. I hate when they switch amazing content and make it a girl power thing. Even as a female, it annoys me.
Yeah, it's like, can you just leave? If they want to do that, then why not make an entirely separate Halo storyline that doesn't involve Master Chief at all? And enjoy doing that. Like, make that your thing. Why does it have to be, hey, let's step all over a series that has been carried on the back of Master Chief? Like,
because they know it's a big enough franchise that if they can weasel in there and corrupt it and twist it around, then people will recognize it more for that. Which in the end I don't even understand, because if they honestly think that people are going to be like, I like this series because of the female empowerment, they are sadly mistaken, because I guarantee you the majority of the people not only don't give a shit about the whole female empowerment nonsense, it's also the idea of that being the main focus is just terrible to begin with.
Yeah, it's like,
what do you get out of it? You don't get anything out of it.
Yeah, if you want to see good female empowerment, then why don't you focus on people like Miranda Keyes, who is an incredibly strong female character. Like, she carries so much of the story in 2 and 3. You could address Halsey. You could address Cortana. Like, there's so much that you could do.
It's because they're not the main characters. Or not even the main characters. They're not the main star. And, like, well, why is Master Chief the main star? Because that's what it was written to be.
Exactly.
Like, what the fuck? Like, what answer do you want?
It's like,
I don't get it.
It's like about that movie Once Upon
all.
a Time in Hollywood, where they were having this panel about it, and I don't know where the panel was taking place. I just saw the video of the panel itself. But this dumb lefty journalist chick, she gets on and on the mic, and she's talking to. She has a question for Tarantino, who wrote the movie, and she makes mention of the fact that there's a girl protagonist inside the film who she's also been in a litany of other acting works, but she's in this film as well. And this female reporter, she points out that compared to her male co-stars, this girl has significantly less lines than her male co-stars, and how that wasn't fair. And she wanted to see if Tarantino could explain himself that this girl doesn't have as many lines, and in this journalist's opinion, she should have more lines because it should be, I guess, fair. And Tarantino just looks at her without batting an eye. He goes, "I just reject your entire hypothesis," which is, when you think about it, the entire hypothesis is, okay, everything has to be equal. Everything has to be fair. Since she's a female co-star to a bunch of males, she either should, one, have as many lines as the male co-star who has the least amount of lines, so she should at least be on par with him. She should three things. She should have as many lines as the male lead, or she should have as many lines as all of the male stars put together. That's more or less what the entire hypothesis, if you really take it to its logical ends, that's what it boils down to. And as much as people want to pretend inside their minds that that is a form of justice, or that's a form of equality, that's a form of justice that should be sought after. For as much people want to pretend that that actually is the case, the painful truth is that all that does in the end is tokenize the person for whom you claim to have this plight for. It completely tokenizes them, and it makes their entire performance, if it's inside a performance media, i.e. say a chorus line or a movie or a show, it makes it so that they're nothing more than a number. They're not even the sum of their acting ability and their talent. They're literally just a number. You're either a man or a woman. And we had to meet our quota for how many lines we were going to give you, or we had to meet our quota for how many women we were going to have in this film or in this show. We had to meet our quota for how many black women or black men or Asian people or Hispanics. It just makes a person a commodity, and it doesn't hold them in regard for their talent.
Well,
only their skin color.
See, that's what I love about these people, is that they've convinced themselves that, and of course they don't think they are, but that it's pretty much, in order to fight racism, I have to be a racist. And it's and it's like, well, one, I think they're so blindly ignorant that they don't see it as that. But true, that's exactly what they are.
Well, because to even admit, as a white person, to even say that you have white privilege, that is you actively thinking that your black fellow citizens are underprivileged and are being disparaged. That's you flat out saying, I'm better, and I know that I'm better than them, so I have to make every effort that I possibly can to include them in every single thing, even things they don't want to be included in, even things that they're not fit for, and essentially tokenize them in every area of society. That's what they're saying. When they're saying, oh yeah, I'm privileged, I'm a privileged white person, what you're saying there is, I'm better than the black person who I claim to be helping or trying to help.
Yeah, I would be as fair as possible, unless of course they have big boobs. Then I might be.
You gotta have some favoritism there.
You gotta be favorited.
You gotta. I think that's written in.
What I would go off of based off of their
hesitations.
what I would do is I would go based off of their looks. You know, right away.
Absolutely.
And then obviously, if they want to get in, there would have to be some sort of
change of goods or services. Yeah.
Exchange their goods.
Like a capitalist society would work.
Like a casting couch, if you. Oh, wait a minute. Hollywood already does that. Never mind.
Shoot.
Oh,
My
no.
goodness.
I'm a
and
douchebag.
Epstein didn't kill himself.
No, he didn't. He was just a poor misfortune soul of bad luck.
Like this is how crazy the whole idea of trying.
What these people want isn't equality; it's the ability to be above the white man.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, because right now, hating white men and Christians is more commonplace than it really has been, at least in recent years that I can tell, and it's actually being encouraged. And it's so criminal to treat people the way that white men have been getting treated as of late.
Well, to transition off of that, or to piggyback off of that, I guess Gina, is once again under hot fire because of the whole Whoopi Goldberg thing. And so Whoopi got suspended for 2 weeks, and she's apparently livid about it. And so everyone goes, "That's interesting," because Gina was straight up fired. And all you're doing is suspending her for 2 weeks, and then this just made everybody so butthurt over it because they're like, Gina has posted all these things and she never apologized for it, and Whoopi is better because she said it on air. It's like,
No, Whoopi claimed that World War II wasn't racially motivated. She claimed that the genocide of 6 million Jewish citizens wasn't racially motivated.
I mean, she looked like she ate 6 million Jewish
Hot dogs.
hot dogs.
You know what's really funny? Check this out. Whoopi Goldberg, like we know it's not her name. That was essentially her stage name, and that stuck. Her actual name is Karen. Whoopi Goldberg is a Karen.
And thus the circle becomes complete.
The snake skin has sloughed off, and we see thine true nature, you black Karen idiot.
And she's fat.
You know, if any, yeah. Oh my goodness, and she's
Was that too blunt?
no, it's not.
Okay.
Because on I remember seeing a snippet from
I
The
thought
View back
thought
when.
fat people were supposed to be jolly too.
Well, part of Kylie used to watch The View a little bit.
Oh gosh.
And it was.
How can you manage?
It was tough. It was honestly hard to be in the same room, but I had to red pillar with some Shapiro, just watching Snowflake dunked on compilations, and
It works.
It took about a week.
It took about a week
Yeah,
flat.
real quick. Got her
Got her
red pilled and fighting for the Lord.
real quick.
But anyway, listening to these gals go on, like having conversations and then arguments about how you can't fat shame people. And there was one instance where this musician, she had mentioned something along the lines of, hey, look, I am not for perpetuating to young girls that it is okay to be morbidly obese and then call that being healthy. And she had said something to the effect of, I think that because the topic was not shaming people who are fat, who are pretending as though they're healthy.
I think it's one thing. Yeah, I think it's one thing, obviously, to be like, shame them in the sense of,
Like, get up in their face and just be like, you're a piece of garbage, you're a piece of garbage, I
Yeah.
hate you, go die.
but like, I think shaming them is perfectly fine. It's
What-
when they're trying to pass that off. It's
Yes,
like what you're saying.
yes.
When it's healthy, it's
Yeah,
like it's like nah.
Yeah, if you've entered the social realm and you're now trying to espouse something that we know to be a lie, and you're then trying to push that on other people, and anybody who disagrees with you is the real problem. What this musician said was, with regards to shaming, she says, I think in order to bring about an actual change to somebody's mental state, to inspire them to do something more than kill themselves with food, she says, I think you need to be a little uncomfortable. I think you need to be made to feel a little uncomfortable. That way, you can actually take that uncomfortability and do something with it, or do something about it, and make the proper changes that you need to make. And she got totally just blasted online for it. But that was one of the arguments that they were going back and forth, either in favor of or against, on View. So it is a bit telling that so many of the gals that have come through there and are still on there now are rotund old Bettys.
Well, I think it's literally what we've been doing all along. Yeah, it's like you can eat whatever you want. You can choose not to exercise if you don't want to. You can do all this, and stuff like that. But the moment you try to say, you know what, being fat is actually okay, and it's actually a healthy thing, no.
Yeah, and losing weight is so damaging for your body.
Now you're just lying to yourself.
Yeah. Now you're lying to yourself, and you're forcing us all to come with you into that dark night.
As someone who used to be fat, I can definitely tell you that I was not happy with myself, with how I looked, or
How you felt?
how I felt and whatnot. Heck, even right now, even after the weight I've lost, I still, if anything, it's like being sin conscious. It's also trying to being weight conscious. Like even now, it's like I'll be like, ooh, I need to watch myself because I feel like I'm putting it on again, and heaven forbid I go back to the way I looked. It's for the better, because now you're more aware of the fact of, and it's not because you're doing it because, well, now other people will think I'm beautiful, sort of
Yeah,
thing.
you do it for you.
You do it for you, and with that, there will come a love from other people. In some way, shape, or form,
Yeah, it's like
Because-
if you treasure what it is, if you treasure who you are, and you're not trying to force people to recognize you with this crazy just dote upon me self-esteem instead of earning it. If you're trying to be genuine and you're trying to do something good for you, people will take notice of that. And then it becomes not just this this story of, oh, I lost all the weight, or oh, I got clean from drugs or alcohol. Now it's like, hey, you did something good for you, and we see that, we commend you for it, and it gives others hope.
Absolutely. Unless, of course, you're a cosplayer. Overweight and trying to cosplay as some, like, muscle-bound person.
Oh, yeah.
Then the illusion does not work.
Or you peed yourself as Rock Lee doing the splits.
Oh, gosh. That was an amazing one.
So, jumping on from that point there, because yeah, Whoopi Goldberg, unfortunately, she's an idiot, and her mental acumen or lack thereof has only become more evident as she's been daily on The View, speaking nonsense. With
I use that cane to get around.
Yeah, with her other fellow co-hosts who also like to spout nonsense as though their mouth is a fount of just a fount of good
Retardation.
knowledge and tender platitudes to ply the ears of everyone listening.
I thought it was like a mount of donuts.
Amount of, I wish.
That'd be more entertaining.
Right? Yeah,
Just
as
see
you
how
talk,
much
donuts
these
explode into
yammering
existence.
bitches can fit donuts in their mouth.
Hey, we're gonna have this game. We're all gonna play Chubby Bunny. How big are the marshmallows? Size of baseballs. You got to get 2 to start, and people choke, and I guess
And, I mean,
there
there's-
ends The View.
Well, it would end of that view.
And yes,
At the
end
of
of
that
that
day.
crooked view. So anyway, moving on to another topic. This one is it's really disappointing, but
As if a lot of these are uplifting.
yeah, we're gonna try though and find the bright side though at the end of these. Okay, this is from this topic on. We're gonna be find the bright side.
Okay.
From 2021, in the year 2021,
Okay.
more police officers have been intentionally killed than in any other year since 1995.
Damn. Wow.
Yeah, in 2021.
Where did that come from?
It was out of a study that just was made public knowledge. Daily Wire actually was reporting on it. I want to say today. Yes, today actually. And there was a recent shooting, or several recent shootings over the last, I believe it's week. And there were 2 police officers shot in St. Louis, 1 in Milwaukee, and 3 in Houston. Thankfully, all of them survived. But this stat comes essentially in the wake of those 2 officers who lost their lives in New York when they were responding to a domestic abuse call. They were essentially ambushed and set upon and killed. There were actually 2 police officers that were shot and killed at Bridgewater College. One of them was a campus officer, and then the other one was his police officer friend. They were called the dynamic duo, like Batman and Robin on campus. They were really good friends. Both of them lost their lives during an active shooter situation. Silver lining in that story, obviously, is the 6 officers who were shot recently. Thankfully, they have all survived.
That's good.
But this here is the cost that I see inside the nation of trying to demonize a collective group of individuals for either the bad actions of one or two, or the unfortunate actions of one or two that leads to a death or is perceived as leading to a death. This is the cost for saying defund them. This is the cost for saying replace them with social workers who have even less claim to understanding of the law than they do. This is the cost for making them out to be pigs and swine.
You know damn well if that social worker idea gets put into place on how much they're going to get.
Oh, dude, it's
It's
already happening in places that
Oh, is it really? I
already
haven't-
happening in places where they have said, "Hey, go away, cops. We'll have social workers handle this." No,
No,
unless
I'm saying like an actual like social worker goes to. Really?
already happening.
Already, the smackdown is being laid.
Already
You know,
happening.
because you're not going to take them seriously, and you know
No.
what? It's probably in the
Why
end.
would
is-
you?
You know what's probably going to happen? They're going to realize that people aren't going to listen to them, and then they're going to go and get someone who's going to essentially be a police officer to be escorted alongside with them, calls and stuff like that, which pretty much defeats the whole purpose of what they were trying to act.
Well, and like
But-
so many of the crazy things that are happening in this country,
What's up, Rod?
they're not trying to make the situation better. They are actively trying to get people to engage in this civil war and take each other out.
I think one thing with the police as well, I think obviously the defund the police is a stupid idea.
Yeah.
But
Saw way
also-
too many dumb voice actors and actresses claiming that that was an awesome idea.
But as we all know, there are going to be bad seeds in
Absolutely.
of good apples, and the police are no different than that. Obviously, there are
Absolutely.
police officers out there to which I would not support. And I think that's where, again, because these people bring it to such an extreme, it's, well, if you say you support police, then you support the police that are, quote, racist, or the police that abuse their power, which they exist out there.
They do.
They do
Absolutely.
exist out there. But it's like, you know, you like what Tom McDonald says, you know, I don't hate all the police. But I think that's where also there's this attitude of the police. Like, as much as I, obviously, if there's something that gnarly happening and police get called and they can help de-escalate this, obviously I want that to happen. But I also see the police kind of like how I see the government, in that your only job is that when something goes down, you need to get over here and make sure nothing else happens. Once you're done, you skedaddle. Like, you're gone. We stuff you back in the closet. You work for us. Get over here now. Do your thing. And then that's how I do it too. So that's like with the police, kind of like when you get pulled over and stuff. Be nice. Cooperate. For me, it's like cooperate to the bare minimum.
Yeah. Cooperate to make it as quick
Do you know
and
why you're
painless as
pulled over?
possible.
Yeah. Do you know why you're pulled over? No. Oh, you were going this XYZ. Oh, really? I'm sorry. Or whoops. Or whatever. Or however you want to word it. I see your license and registration. Sure. All right, we'll let you off with a warning. Okay, I'm not being detained. Okay, yep. Get out of there. That's all you have to do.
It's like literally just get it over as quickly
Yeah,
as
get it over.
painlessly as possible.
Exactly. Get it over as quickly as painless as possible. And a lot of people don't want to do that, which unfortunately I think that comes from just bad upbringings, and depending on what culture you're appropriated from. When you have music that tells you to resist the police, don't trust the police, you know, XYZ, that doesn't help either, sort of thing. Which is why the police have to then, in response, kind of be a little biased when they're having to deal with a situation like that, because that's how they respond.
Yep.
That's how people respond to them when they're in that part of the hood.
Absolutely. And like it's people, you get cultured to respond a certain way when you have essentially just an inundation of a specific kind of response to whatever it is you're doing. It's like say 20 times out of 25 you have to tell your neighbor, hey, your dog is barking really super loud. It's 6 a.m. Can you please stop? Say 20 times out of 25, your neighbor charges out of his house at you with a frying pan to try and hit you. 5 of those times he doesn't. He says, oh yeah, no, I'll take care of it right now. Your understanding of what happens now whenever you talk to your neighbor is they're going to come at me with a frying pan. And so you're going to go over there and you're probably going to be a little bit cagey. You're probably going to have your guard up. You may even have a weapon of your own just in case. And you're probably going to be really super blunt and really super direct to the person to just make sure that this is taken care of and done and over with as quickly and as painlessly as possible. And you're conditioned to be that way because of all the interactions you've had up to this point. In the same, what should be, what ends up amounting out to be the same situation over and over and over and over. It's like you look at these cops who have to do, I don't know how many traffic stops every single day of people that are mucking around on their cell phones or who are speeding or who get in an accident or who are found to be under the influence. And they're conditioned to a degree to where they've seen X, Y, and Z over and over and over. They pretty much know how it's going to play out. You still have...
I would hope so, yeah.
Yeah, and you...
Some of them are a little...
yeah, some of them are a little cagey, a little flighty.
Well, and plus they're a little excited, too. Like...
Yeah.
Well, it was... Yeah, the shopping mall.
Yeah, shut
Yeah,
that girl.
that's that one's a sad one. I don't know what happened with that one. But, Yeah, you know, I've heard some people be like, why do they have to, why are you coming at me with your hand on your gun already? It's like, dude, I'm more than positive, like, the very limited, I'm not trying to brag here, the very limited time I've gotten pulled over and stuff, I'm more than positive they've had their hand on their pistol when they're approaching the car. I don't take that like any other.
No,
You got
it's
to.
them.
Like,
It's
yeah.
them being protected, because if out of two people that are in a situation, if both people are out of control, then it's very, very dangerous. If the cop is in control and is being cautious and super alert and aware of a situation, then at least he's protected, and there's a good chance that you're going to be protected as well, because he's accounting for both of you at that point.
Yeah, and if you don't like it, then why don't we
Frickin' don't speed or do drugs.
why don't we just do what the there's times where why don't we just do what the lefties
I know
were
what you're
so
thinking.
afraid of?
Mutual combat laws.
Yeah, mutual combat laws. Or if, you know, they keep saying it's going to be like the Wild West again, why not? I mean, you might be terrified and pissing in the corner, but I'll have a hell of a time.
Huh?
Your boss says, I think it's also a generational thing,
Yes.
because a lot of people
Cultural.
are being raised to believe that they should be handed everything by the government and that they are the exception to the, quote, rules. Yep.
Yep. And so much of who we are and what we are as citizens of this country is we are products of our culture. And
We are the youth of the
that
nation.
is, you're not born to be that, but you become that because of the influences inside your life. You know, you
I was born to be wild, baby.
Oh, Steppenwolf. But we're all products of it. And really, really sucks that some people were unfortunately born into a corrosive culture.
Yep.
It's like nobody chooses to be born poor. It unfortunately is an outcome that is all too familiar for so many people the world over. And the human spirit, it can survive literally anything.
Mm-hmm.
But you have to also hopefully be in an environment that is geared towards helping to facilitate proper growth. And some people, it just sucks. What you're born into, it's not going to work out. But it's not going to work out what kind of support you're going to get. But what you still have to decide is how you're going to respond given your upbringing or given whatever colors you've been left with to paint with. Because choosing to do illegally and choosing to act like a buffoon that everybody socially will expect you to be, that's unacceptable. But if you turn around and surprise everybody and say, no, even in the wake of my tragic past, I'm going to be a model citizen. I'm going to stand up for something. I'm going to do better with my life, which we've seen time and time again. People can't do that. If that's what you end up doing, then you're going to be so much stronger and you're going to make your world around you so much more beautiful, because you won't have just succumbed to being solely a product of your community, solely a product of your culture. It's like, to a degree, and this is true of any family that has a very strong basis in faith, every single person is indoctrinated in a way into something by their family. Like, that's the nature of it. People think indoctrination is such a bad thing to happen to people. In reality, it is not. Now, you can be indoctrinated into things that are in fact bad, like a death cult or a suicide cult, a little Jonestown there.
You and me.
We'll go kill Hitler.
Kill old Hitler.
But like, that's something that I would say is, you know, if it's something that's going to demand that you inflict harm on yourself or other people, probably a bad thing to be indoctrinated into. But people indoctrinate their children into their way of life, into their way of thinking, into the religion or the belief system that they cling to. And it's not bad to be indoctrinated into something good. It's, you know, it's kind of like the word consequences. Consequences can be good or bad. Consequence is simply just the reaction to something being done, or the outcome of something being done. So, yeah, the whole idea that people have to assume ill of every person who is a part of a collective of individuals, or is of the same gender or same race or same political persuasion or same field of work, i.e. a policeman or a a law enforcement officer, say National Guard or a military police, to simply lump them all in together. Yes, as I already talked on, there is, to a degree, some kind of conditioning that can happen for certain people. Say you are one who bends the law and you end up getting treated over and over and over the same way with a whole lot less respect than you really want because of your own actions, then yes, you can be cultured to believe that way. But in the end, you still have to look at the collective as a whole and weigh it on the ideas of what it should be. It's like when Aristotle said you can't judge a philosophy based on its abuse. You have to look at the philosophy itself, see if there's any merit to it, and if the philosophy itself is sound, then you have to take the philosophy at its own. Let it stand on its own legs. Same with somebody's culture. It's like you may have a crappy culture, but if you as a person choose to be above that culture, then I can weigh you instead of weighing you by your culture.
Absolutely.
So that's that was as I said already, unfortunate to hear about 6 officers being injured in the line of duty, but thank God they did survive. And it cuts to another issue in New York, where you have the mayor of New York City. He is going so soft on punishments for crimes. Like, it's this soft punishment approach, this very soft on crime. And because of this, you are seeing such a rise in violent crime. You are seeing a dramatic rise in lethal violent crime. To the point that actually believe it or not, 4 actual black citizens of New York City, they're opposing this law, and they are they're opposing not just the idea of
Hitler.
sorry, let me retract that. Things have gotten so bad inside New York that the governor is now looking to try and possibly repeal some of what the mayor of New York City has put into place, and is taking, I guess, a more active interest in what has been going on because of citizen outcry. Still, though, in New York, there's been some new legislation that was passed a bit ago, and that essentially allows 800,000 foreign nationals residing in New York. Now, foreign nationals could be illegal aliens. They could be people who are living here just with green card or visa status, not actual full citizens of this nation yet. They're being allowed the right to vote in our political elections. And so you actually have 4 black citizens of New York City are opposing this this law or these sets of laws that have been put into place. And what's really insane about how this law has been put into play in order to achieve leftist insane outcomes is that the only thing that you have to have done or have to have under your belt in order to, as a foreign national, be able to vote in an election in New York, and by extension, potentially a nationwide election like the presidential one, the only thing that you have to have is you have to have lived in the area for 30 days.
Gosh,
that's it.
really?
They have a 30 days rule. Oh, you've been here 30 days? Illegal or not, you get to vote. You get to have a commanding say in the legal processes of this state.
I'm trying to find a health pack.
Now, silver lining in all this is that you actually have some people who are, as the leftist retards like to say, POCs, standing in opposition to this. The bill.
I hate that.
Yeah, I hate it
so
too.
much.
I hate it so much. It's retarded. We're all people of color, just like DC Talk said. We're all colored people, but thankfully, you have people that are actually standing up against it, and that is the silver lining. People are not just going to simply take it lying down. And more of that. We need to see more of that. It's like V said, people shouldn't fear their governments. Governments should fear their people.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Like I said, Wild West, man. Bring it back. it would
It's longer hip for everybody.
it would scare them shitless, and we would be fine. Because these fools don't know how to.
No. If
A couple bodies dropping on the ground and guarantee you, they're like, wait a minute, we changed our mind. we bring it back.
we
please."
made a mistake.
There's absolute bull. People should be paying taxes to vote. It makes me mad. That I have
Absolutely.
to support people who do nothing for our country. Yep.
It's like the idea of universal health care. Oh, it
Oh.
sounds wonderful on paper. The reason it can't, one of several reasons why it can't work here in the States is because we have not solved our illegal immigration problem. When you have millions and millions and millions of people living and leeching off of your system who treat the ER as their general care provider, you can't hope to even think about implementing a universal health care scheme. Because you will have those who, as is commonplace inside a socialistic society, you'll have those that are taking advantage. You will have the non-workers.
I mean, there's
that are sucking
even
the
right now,
lifeblood out of
people are
everybody
taking
else.
advantage.
They are.
Like unemployment. Knew someone back in Rochelle who would apply to the place I used to work at, but he even said he's like don't hire me. I just gotta showcase that I'm trying to still get a job because I'm getting unemployment.
Yeah.
Just like, wow.
The reason why Social Security is going to be completely tapped out by the time you and I are of retirement age is because people have been coddled. They have not been made to take personal ownership for themselves and their decisions and do something productive with their life, whether it be in the work vein or it be in the research vein, to help move their country forward. And they have just not only sucked off the system, but due to how many abortions have been had here since it was made legal inside the States, we have effectively killed our replacement population that would have been able to solve this crisis of Social Security and not being able to care for those who have put in their days and months and years as workers to then be able to live on a pension. It's going to be gone. And we did it to ourselves, all in the name of progressivism.
I wish I'd at least get a picture of all the dang my taxes are supporting.
Seriously, yeah. Send me old Marisol and her 9 kids who came over here on a floating door. Let me pin that to my refrigerator every time I'm just going to get a spoon of peanut butter because I've got money like that.
Eat peanut butter in your.
Well, it was natural and doesn't have any kind of preservatives. And
Oh, I get you. And it gets all soupy.
yeah, the old sun butter in the fridge. So here's another funny one. Oh, I shouldn't say funny one. I guess it's kind of funny.
You know us. We'll giggle at
Yeah,
anything.
it's darkly humorous, but NFL is having a bit of an issue right now.
Oh, they finally realizing that going woke doesn't help.
No, they're still sticking with that old song and pony act. Dog and pony act. But I didn't know this. The NFL has what's known as the Rooney Rule,
Okay.
and it's more or less a
Oh.
quota meeting scheme of theirs. And from my understanding, it seems to apply specifically to replacing a head coach for a team. That the owner of said team, when looking to replace head coach, they have to interview at least
Oh, gosh.
one minority or slash diverse candidate. Now, if you want to, talk about minority candidates, they could just interview any skinny person because skinny people are now the minority here in our great nation. But there again is it's a darkly humorous and I would say criminally sad cross section of what tokenization and what demanding equity and simply meeting a number versus bringing somebody on for their character does. It's exactly it shows exactly what this is. This is the outcome of it. You have to then go and try and claim, oh yeah, we got to get X amount of people in because we just have to make our quotas, and we don't really care about their. We're acting as though we don't care about their winning streak as a coach. Did they have a great season? Like, one of the Miami Dolphins coaches who had 2 winning seasons back to back, and then he gets fired come the 3rd season, seemingly just out of the blue. It's like, can we, as the old Dr. King, can we take them for the content of the character, or the conduct of their winning streak, or their acumen as a coach?
Well, Mr. King wasn't exactly the saint as well.
Mr. King, he was
He liked them orgies.
I'm a real good guy. But at least he said a few good things. You know, in the end, that should be enough for lefty wackos. Well, that's an issue right now in the NFL.
Oh no. You see the tears just trickling down my face.
Like the
I'm
last
so-
Mohican, I'm just
It's like I'm
shedding my tears.
so concerned about the NFL.
My heart
can't-
breaks.
That's cheap. They're purposely put those there so.
So here's another interesting story, I guess, and I didn't even know this was going on until you finally Biden announced it. But on Wednesday, I guess the leader, or the top man in ISIS, was killed.
Okay, that's kind of I feel like that's pretty.
And it was pretty big news. You know, the head guy of ISIS, he gets done in. Awesome news. There was a raid that had been going on for about 2 hours inside this area. That our troops were doing a raid on this area. It was actually, from what I understand, like a small town where he was holed up. The dude, though, when the U.S. forces, or possibly, I don't know if there were allies involved too, but when the forces were encroaching on his abode, the guy ignited his explosive armed vest and took down 13 other people with him, including, I believe it was either 6 women and 4 children, or 6 children and 4 women, but 13 people were killed as well, including women and children, which is sad. You know, thank God the guy's dead, and you know, maybe he's getting his 70 male IT virgins, and his afterlife won't be all that what it was cracked up to be.
Don't worry, Rod. This is just us venting about stuff. You don't. Anybody, if you don't, you know, obviously no one has to comment about any politics if they don't.
Yeah.
I don't want to get political, but how are people not complaining about how the taxes are being used to fund wars outside of the U.S., suddenly trying to help members of society a waste?
Yep. It's like, would that we could just withhold taxes and say, no, here's a list of things that I will pay my taxes to. Everything else, you guys can go pound sand. Because get this. So
That's kind of like you know, the whole, like we've heard people say taxation is I think there's certain taxes that I think we as members of society should incorporate,
like
road fees and stuff like
infrastructure,
that. Infrastructure like that. But I do also agree too, other than that, it's like, what, like, hey, you need to pay this tax. It's like, no, I don't. Like, what do you need to
No. Well, think about this. This is crazy. So back on the topic of the Freedom Truckers,
Freedom Train.
so they're going to be heading to the nation's capital in Canada now. That's what the next goal is. The Canadian government is using taxpayer money to buy up or rent out all the available hotel rooms in the city, and has instructed the hotels that they are not to rent a room to any of these truckers or any of the sympathizers for these truckers. They're literally spending taxpayer money to send a political message at the cost of the taxpayer to the taxpayer.
I think that's also pretty funny too, because truckers live in their truck, like their trailers have a sleeping area into it, so that's absolutely retarded.
Well, not all trucks do, but,
Well,
the point is well taken.
Well, yeah, but that's where, you know, a lot of the trucks that you see on the side of the road, it's because the back area, they do have a rest area that they sleep in stuff. Commence to jiggling, whatever thing they have, because people don't know what their taxes are being used for. Yep. Or they say it's for one thing, but it's worded specifically to give them leeway, something else.
Yeah, it's like with that with this bill that got put out during the whole quarantine, where it was, oh, here's a relief bill that's 1,500 pages long. It has a whole bunch of other garbage shoehorned into it, which gives money to foreign caliphates and people overseas, and the people here in the U.S. are getting, it was like less than 10% of the funding that had been rounded up for this this relief bill.
Mm-hmm.
It really does feel like an uprising is gonna be brewing here, because this is an untenable way to actually run your society. If you think you can keep doing this to the American taxpayer, the American citizens, and that they're just going to continue rolling over and letting you do this to them, then your schemes of trying to develop dependency upon the government, you better put them into play a whole lot quicker than you are, because they're already getting wise, and they've already bought up damn near every available round on the shelf at Academy Sports, Cabela's, and Bass Pro Shops, and
Bass Pro Shops.
They've got iron to start the fire, as it were.
Good old taxi driver.
Right? Yeah, right. Are you talking to me? Ah, I'm the only one here. Must be talking. Yeah, I would. They're the misuse of funds is, it can't be overstated how often it happens here in the United States, and how it's so much of where our taxes end up going to are really, really superfluous causes that end up hurting us as a nation in the long run. But again, keep harping on this. The globalist agenda is to cause complete and utter instability and chaos. It's about...
But I don't, like, is it because they, like, then they'll swoop in and be like, we can solve all the problems?
Either they swoop in and solve all the problems, or they push tensions with people to the breaking point, because they all have their money, they all have their little bunkers, they all have their ways of escape. They push all the plebeians to the breaking point, to the point that we end up killing each other, doing their dirty work for them, and then they can step in and essentially sift through the wreckage to pretend to salvage what could be remade in their sadistic image. Their goal is to destabilize this great country. They're not concerned with making it better. Oh, they'll pretend to make it better while they actively work to corrupt and corrode. Blow up. Here we go.
Wait, look at me real quick.
Looking at you.
I'm signed in as you, and you're signed in as me.
How did this happen?
I have no idea, but whatever.
Oh man, I have gotten you so many achievements.
Oh man, free.
Well, I gotta call my manager. Oh, my hand. But yeah, so that's largely what I've got going on in the world right now. I wanna have some high notes, because there's a lot that we can be upset about. And
You heard from Gunny?
No.
it almost stands to reason that if you want to not be completely depressed out of your mind 24/7, you really shouldn't absorb too much news. You should actively curate what it is that you're actually being inundated.
Your vote just got overruled. Oh.
And as a person, you have the right to not. You have the right to control exactly how much you're consuming. And
Michael.
I don't say all that to say turn off the news entirely. Don't look at it. Don't watch it. There's actually a really great episode of Walking Dead, where one of the characters at the time, he's talking to his effectively his sister, and it's about facing the grim and the ugly and the harsh realities of the world. And it was something that his father had told him, and it was when listening to the news. Oh, the news is depressing. He says, but you must face it. You must absorb it, and you must recognize what is being said to you and what's going on. It's incumbent on you to do so. And painful though it is, a lot of times, if you can take it though, in small chunks, it will be less painful. And will be less upsetting. And actively try and fill your days otherwise with joyous things. You know, there's a reason why the Bible says, whatsoever is lovely, whatsoever is of good repute, think on these things. Because good Lord knows that we can really, really have our morale shot down out from underneath us. And right now, America is, according to numbers that were put out by Chicago University, Americans right now as a whole are the most unhappy that we have ever been. And to my knowledge, the percentage of that dropped 19 points from when it was last polled. I want to say it was 3 years ago.
Oh, gee.
So we have really, really dropped a long ways, and it's definitely, I don't think it's lost on anybody. Anybody who's been paying attention the last 3 years as to all the craziness that's been going on in our states. But do yourself some good soul scrubbing and choose to allow in certain things and choose to exclude certain things as well.
The topic's
Try, really, really, really try to do something kind for yourself and to yourself. Sitting and suffering through news as often as so many of us do, I think that would count in most cases as a form of cruel and unusual torture. We are traveling to the next waypoint. We are piecing together the mystery.
too many people just not being able to stay at home and jack it.
I'm not doing anything, Dad. I'm just sitting here.
Where's Dad? I'm not watching television. I'm just laying around jacking it.
What, badass?
On my hot spicy boner, of course, Dad. What?
Oh. That's I guess a really roundabout way of saying take in what is necessary. Observe and absorb what is necessary for you to know. And if it's not, and you find that it's going to put you in a bad frame of mind and is really going to just wear on your soul, then take the rest of that crap away. Do something, read a book, watch a show, watch a movie, go exercise. Do something that you know is going to be good for your own sanity.
We are eating carrots and celery with some homemade hummus.
Homemade hummus, man. Not nearly as good as the four-cheese frittata, but it'll do. So what's going on in the nerd world, Greg?
Well, I was looking at some stuff. Like I said, the Halo thing that we talked about, that was one that I felt was kind of like the main. What's up?
Disappointment.
Yeah, that was the big disappointment.
I was just trying to get out of the city.
We got to make sure that women are shown as empowered, even though there's already female Spartans. But nope, they got to be the main character. I haven't heard anything with the quartering in Frost yet.
Oh yeah.
To go down.
Yeah, where they were talking about having an interview, and Yellow Flash got in on that too, and
Yes, he got salty.
salty. Yeah, and did we talk about this last time? I don't remember.
I mentioned it, but like nothing of yet has come out that I saw.
Maybe just interested to find out what's going on there.
I know the new Pokemon game came out.
Ooh.
Pokemon Legends.
Do you have that one yet?
I do not. Zach got it. I'm trying not to really buy any new. Just because of the backlog I have is so.
It's like me and books.
Yeah.
So
Books are good though.
got so many books to read. So many. Speaking of books, I'm still working through The American Story. And
Tell you a post about that.
it is a fantastic book. It's got right now this one, I'm hoping they're going to be doing a series, David and Tim Barton, but this one seems like it. Well, it does say it's the beginnings. It goes up, I think, roughly to Abraham Lincoln's life.
Okay.
So it's really the birth of this nation up through the Civil War, and it's got seriously in its pages all the information that is excluded from normal textbooks. It has all the information inside of it that is of so much value, but is so often not known or not remembered. It really is an outstanding book.
This is my best friend Eric. Michael's asked, who is that to the right side again? Sorry if I don't remember.
You're good, Michael.
Maybe we should reintroduce ourselves if there's anybody new.
Sure, yeah. Well,
Yeah.
this is your channel, so why
Yeah,
don't you take the
I was
wheel?
gonna start it off. Well, I'm Greg. Our Cat Greg is the channel here, and right now we are using my channel to host a show that we call Hot Button Co-op, where we thought we would just kind of bring back the basic times of life when people could just get together and talk about whatever's on their mind while playing a nice co-op video game. Eric and I are both in the same room, and we are Halo. Really top-notch co-op game. Still going on to this day, the series. But yeah, the topics are of just what we have noticed throughout the week, what we want to talk about. It can range from politics to entertainment, to the Bible, our faith, anything that's pretty much on our mind. We just talk and share what we think. And, you know, it's kind of a chance for you guys just to see what goes through our heads and how, you know, express ourselves that way. And it's a window for you guys to catch the talk that we have behind the camera.
The inner machinations of our minds.
So why don't you go ahead yourself?
Yeah, well, for anyone new out there who doesn't know this face, I am Eric Rollon, aka Angel Legend. I'd say a pretty successful YouTube channel.
You got more than me.
Well, by a few thousand, but you broke the 10,000. That's what you
Well, we
did.
are back down, unfortunately. But that's
darn
because
you, January.
yeah, because YouTube has purged, and and a lot of people once the Mike Tyson mystery content stopped flowing, people dipped. But that's all right though. Jingleberg.
But,
Yeah, but you know,
Yeah, you can.
that wasn't the main point.
Yeah, and you can obviously find any of my socials or Greg's socials inside the information section down below. But if you look up my channel, it is Angel Legend, all spelt with one L, ANGELEGEND. My channel initially started out with me doing cosplay builds on there. I was teaching people how to make suits of Halo armor, and it was. I had a lot of fun doing that. I even did a prop build on how to do the SMG. Actually, specifically this SMG. I do. I still have both of them actually. Probably gonna give them away as gifts at some point. But I did a video on how to make that, and now my view on there has, or I shouldn't say my view, but my work on there has shifted to largely working on the podcast that I have, which is Tough Love.
That's still
Tough
big
Love,
silly.
as well as a conversation little cast that I run as well called Tough Talks, which I get people who are of the faith and operate inside the same realm that I do, their takes on this, that, and the other. So it is it's a fun channel. I really enjoy it a lot, and I just am learning a ton along the way. I'm also a biblical historian, and I am a Libraphile. So I love me some books and some literature.
As I'm getting to y'all, our friends. Oh no, hate him with a passion.
Oh yeah,
I'm just
I don't even know this guy. Beyond what he just said in
barely
the stream.
barely keeping my vomit in.
Yeah, we have to fight as soon as this goes off.
As soon as this is off, the gloves come off.
Fisticuffs. Yep. On buckets and gloves.
Yeah.
On mucking barn.
But yeah, Eric and I have known each other since high school, back in Illinois.
We actually met on a youth Christian retreat.
And we did. Whoop, whoop.
Good old rock weekend.
Good old rock weekend. Kind of gay now looking back at it, but good. nonetheless. Eval says, it's nice to watch my favorite non-VTuber again, just talking about some hot topics. Now that I know about this show, I'm going to try not miss an episode. Well, thank you, G-Boss. That's my friend from work,
Oh, much appreciated.
by the way. And I was going to actually ask you how that HoloLives is doing, but part of me would rather stick my hand in a blender than have to know what's going on in that world. But what's her name? Kiara? Is Kiara doing all right? Is she still... What is she, the Phoenix?
The Phoenix?
Brothers fight! We are brothers in faith.
And blood.
And technically blood.
Yeah, blood brothers. Right. Got some of Greg's antibodies. Amazing. Oh,
Yes.
Picking your gun. Oh, I can't give him an empty gun. Hold on. That's the name. Right. So,
And it was not by sexual means. Just to clarify.
hey, we cut our fingers. It wasn't mucosal contact in the least.
Yes.
Promise you. So this was something
We did it
interesting.
via old Clint Eastwood.
That's right. Whip out that pocket knife and slit a finger. This is something, Greg. I don't know if you caught this talk.
We're tested.
Yes. We are fine.
We've been tested. Any of that.
Yes, I have. I got tested for all the STDs.
Not for that specifically, like
Stids.
other stuff.
Yeah, like COVID and
What did you do in a Christian retreat? Oh, jeez.
honestly, it was a lot about like team building and just getting to know who we were going to be going to school with. A lot of camaraderie stuff and a lot of just common sense applications of the Bible to your life. Like, hey, don't go slutting around with every Tom, Dick, and Harry. Or hey, maybe don't go get hooked on illegal substances. Put your money where your mouth is.
Yeah. Pretty much that with just a lot of food and
Lots of food and candy.
stuff.
It's a good grub.
Obviously, you had to tone down your. We had to tone down our humor and vocabulary. I guess you could. Not anymore.
Thankfully, it was the way I describe it as a total immersion God encounter, where it's you just get loved on for the weekend,
Yeah,
which was fun. And you
I'm still in love with Kiara. Oh my gosh.
you still make some friends.
What's up?
Still make some friends. Some of the friends that I made from Rock Weekend, say I've had pretty much the rest of it. Well, at least one, Greg, definitely. My brother and I, but we were already friends.
What were you gonna say though?
I forgot. Oh, I was going to say, so I don't know if you saw this. I was catching up some of Elijah's shows this week. His You Are Here, as well as Slightly Offensive. And he had on there, I forget her first name, but she's an ex, or I shouldn't say ex because she does have an OnlyFans that she does post nude images of herself, but she's a porn star. Her last name is Lovia, and there was the first show that I saw was You Are Here, so it was with Sydney, and they were just talking about the nature of the business and what's really happened with it, and what do they see as being good or bad about it, and how do we see that affecting our nation's youth, and I guess just people on the psychological spectrum as a whole. And I didn't watch much more of it because it seemed like there was too much of a glamorization of pornography. But I did watch today, or listen to rather, his episode of Slightly Offensive, because he had on there inside, I guess what would be fourth chair, Yako Buyans. And Yako, he operates here inside the DFW area. He has essentially his job is freeing people who are stuck in the sex trafficking trade, who are either being trafficked by a pimp or by a family member, or who are trafficking themselves. He helps battered women, battered children, and he really is a powerful force. He's also an ordained minister, And he takes a very, very hard and firm stance against pornography, as pornography is the only drug that actually rewires your brain. It does brain damage that, if you could kind of put a finer point on the damage it causes, is it sets you back literally to a semi-infantile state in your mind. It really inhibits your brain growth, and it does alter your brain's chemistry. And it was a pretty decent little back and forth that him and Lovia had on the show. It was they both made some what I would have to consider some good points, and there were some good firm places where Yako stood and said, I got to disagree with you on this. But they were both very respectful of each other. And Lovia, she was I believe a porn star for I think 7 years. And then I believe she's been out of the professional porn world for I think 7 years as well. She does have her OnlyFans that she does put up content on as well. So I wouldn't say that she's retired, but from the career that she did have when she was having to work for other people, other producers, that part of her career is over and done with. But it was a very insightful conversation, and it really strikes at a really unfortunate fact about people in our day and age, and I guess more to the point, younger generation, younger boys, and it's the readily accessible and all too easily accessible porn that is out there, and beyond just like the vanilla entry level guy-girl stuff, all the really just crazy gonzo stuff that is out there, that for so many kids nowadays, their first experience with seeing pornography or seeing smut films is something that is really quite taboo, even inside the industry, whether it be something of like a group nature or an abusive kind of video where this girl is, once the cameras are off, she's leaving black and blue. Really hardcore stuff like that. And it's the accessibility of it that has really done so much damage, especially to people who, maybe it was a kid who, he learns of a term or something in school, and he goes and punches it on YouTube, and next thing you know, he's watching some insanely graphic stuff that is
Crushing.
Yeah, crushing. Some insanely graphic stuff that is on YouTube, because a lot of people don't realize this. There are literally thousands of pornographic videos on YouTube.
Oh, really?
Thousands.
Looks like I'm gonna have to do some scientific research.
Market research there. Yeah, there are thousands.
Purely for scientific purposes.
Pornographic.
Believe
films
you
on
me,
there.
you sir. There is no.
I derive no pleasure from this. This is a job that I must do. No, but and so that brings up another issue, and part of it felt to me like Lovia was kind of not moving the goalpost as it were, but she was kind of shifting the conversation more to a broader umbrella over the whole topic. Because yes, on the one hand,
I guess you have to really look for it, Ron.
you can address the porn as a whole. You could say, its effects on society, its effects on for a lot of guys, erectile dysfunction, guys who have been so desensitized from either self-stimulation or just observing way too much pornography, and it's ruined their ability to reach sexual congress when they're actually with, say, their fiance or their girlfriend or their wife. It's really unfortunate, but it's happening more and more in so many younger men, and there's more young men on pills like Extends or Viagra or Cialis right now to help with their dysfunction than there ever have been, which is it really should not be that way. And so one of the things that Lovia was talking about was that she, even though she feels of course differently to the whole porn field than even Yako did, the one thing that she was adamant about is that she says you Google my name now, and that stuff is out there forever. I don't have the power to get all those images and videos taken down that have been filmed of me. And Yako's like, yeah, no, you're absolutely right. It is out there forever. And so she says, so what she's really concerned with is not allowing the smut to be accessed by so many young individuals, and putting it behind the proper paywalls that it needs to be behind.
Well, that's funny because my OnlyFans was not intended for.
Yeah, I think my OnlyFans is what the Cameo is. I feel like OnlyFans was intended to be what Cameo is now, essentially.
Well, that was the whole thing. Was that at one point my OnlyFans said, "Yeah, we're gonna get rid of all pornography." Everybody freaked out. But they said originally, before they pussied out, they originally said that this wasn't what it was intended for. And it's like, stick to your guns then.
Yeah, well, and that's
what, like, everyone got butthurt when Tumblr got dropped, but, you know, when you have kitty porn on there, of course it's gonna...
Yeah, and there is an absurd amount of kitty porn on Twitter itself, which is just disgusting. But, and Yako was able to sympathize with her on that and says, you know, I do agree. It's like, you know, this is, you know, essentially your job, and if it can be placed behind a paywall, he says, you know, that 18-year-old age threshold, he says, I'm fine, you know, that yes, that's fine. He says, I don't want kids getting a hold of this stuff. And more or less it came down to, he says, look, we can address what this does to the human brain, what this does to marriages or love lives. But it seemed like the conversation was really kind of zeroed in on disallowing access to kids who really should not see this stuff, and should have it explained to them by their parents what actual real intimacy is.
Well, it's a lot of the stuff that you know, people get their kinks and that stuff off of different stuff, but with porn, there's not really. It's the false consent value because they're getting paid. But of course, the whole third acting.
Yeah.
Like, okay,
so
sort
like
of
this
thing.
point of view stuff, it's this contrived, conceived intimacy.
Yeah, and when it's exactly, and
So
hopefully parents are explaining it's like, look, man, humans get their jollies off in some weird way. Some of it, yeah, that's actually a chemical thing that you do, sort of thing.
well, also there's inside.
What the fuck? That's crazy. So strange. Yeah, I had to go tame some strange.
So like in the world of pornography, you have, like, I guess if you could lump it into two groups, there's the more actual, like, intimate kind of side of it, but then there's also the more performative side. And people look at that and they get an unrealistic expectation of what sex should be, what physical intimacy should be. And so many people, they because of that, they're unable to either enjoy sex with their partner to the fullest extent, you know, their wife or their husband, or they're unable to be aroused and in the moment and actually be able to what's the word? Appreciate the gravity of the act that's now taking place, because what they've seen is an unrealistic standard that can't be met. They see, you know, this group of college co-eds, which doesn't just happen in real life. They see everybody there is having a good time. Everybody's having fun. Nobody's having a bad time. And it paints this image inside their minds that they're now chasing.
They're just at a bad party. Well, you just gotta find where the freaks are.
But I know that it, especially like back in college, when suddenly you're out on your own, and say you go to waiter school, you're out on your own, and it's like the first time for a lot of us that you're now pretty much your own master. Yeah, a lot of us did. A lot of us did. A lot of us do. But You're the one setting your bedtime now. You're the one deciding what you eat. You're the one deciding what your entertainment is, and it's really super easy to go down that slope and take a jaunt into some areas that you need not be messing around with. And it's all too easy to do. Way too easy. So I know that not all the viewers are that of the faith, but even for those who are more secular minded, I would encourage you to take a real hard look at some of the things that you are inundated with, and see what you really put stock into. See where inside your life you do find the desensitivities, whether it be to violence, like as we play this violent game, or it be to things of a sexual nature, or even drug or alcohol use. So while everything is permissible, not everything is acceptable, and not everything should be acceptable, whether it be for your own welfare or for somebody else.
Coming home today. Sounded good. Well, you mentioned alcohol. Obviously, I wasn't thinking like
let's go chug a whole.
let's go chug a
fifth
whole
right
one,
here
but I was
now in the
like,
parking
oh
lot.
man, that's nice.
Ice cream also, or custardy. Ooh. I gotta wonder how many places are actually open right now that are still
I
serving.
believe Brom is.
No, really?
Well, the places that were open. Well, what was weird is that actually I felt.
me, Ricky Bobby.
I think I am. A lot of I'm not exactly sure, but it felt like a lot of places were actually open in the afternoon. Started coming down. It a lot of snow actually got melted
Oh yeah.
away, so now it's just watching out for that black ice.
Yeah, we're down here in old Snowmageddon, which is more like sleet apocalypse. It was just freezing rain and pebbly snow.
I don't know how I came across, like went down that rabbit hole. I started watching people, like a mixture of people who like just go off the grid and camp in like freezing weather,
Right?
in like their nice tents, and they actual stoves.
Like homesteaders?
Yeah, well,
Or
I think they had like a home. Like a couple guys I was watching, they just go to a place and camp out,
okay.
and it's kind of in free weather and stuff like that. One guy showed he was an off-the-grid guy who converted a van into a home.
Oh, that's
And
cool.
goes around, and he had like a nice gaming rig and all this stuff. Really cool. And then
Nice.
one Japanese fellow, he converted a truck into a little home, and he get the food he needed for the day, and like just set up a camera and board,
That's really
just,
cool.
Just the solitude of being alone. I don't know how I went down it, but it was actually really cool.
It's such a simple way of life. When it comes down to just meeting your basic bodily needs, and then if you're able to, I guess, have an awesome gaming rig in the back of your van, or if you're able to provide yourself with some entertainment. But I feel like that is what we all should aspire to do, is to live that simple life that Paul talks about. Live that simple, quiet life. Essentially, mind our
nice-
pints and quarts.
Get a nice home, nice backyard, and the woods, so you can
Yeah.
just stay there.
How bad?
There's actually a really cool channel on YouTube, which there's this guy building his own log cabin, but he's using tools.
Oh, that they would use.
Yeah, to do it.
Dang.
It's
Wow.
really cool.
Harsh to do.
I don't think he's done yet. For a couple things, he did have to have his grandpa help him out with an earth mover just to bring a few of like the bigger beams up to the ceiling, because it's just him by himself. Otherwise, he'd have probably a couple other people helping with it. But it was really cool watching him make rope pulleys to get these giant beams up to the top of where he was working, and how he would hew the log out, and then he would curve curve out a big rut inside the next one, which would stack on top of the next log, so they would fit together like Lincoln logs do. And in between those layers, he would take fresh sod, cover that entire next log, and then put the next one on top, so it made an airtight seal all the way down. Really, really cool stuff. And he's got his little dog out there, and he just camps out in a tent out in the middle of nowhere, just building this cabin. Very, very cool.
Trains ran underground up to the old city. We're gonna find one of the tunnels. Walk on out of here.
You're gonna carry me all the way, sweetheart?
Was planning
Man.
on it, but now that you're feeling
It's
better,
wild looking at these cutscenes here. And
get the door.
I remember back when I first saw this, it was
Yeah, no. You kind of feel the rigidness of the movement and stuff because it's not motion.
it was like graphics have come so much farther than they even were just a few years ago. And I still don't even have the most recent Xbox. I don't know when I'm gonna get that thing.
Probably get that more than you can get the PS5.
Are they still having
Oh.
supply issues with that?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Speaking of supply issues, I was supposed to get Ender 5 Pro today.
Right?
Did not come. Hopefully I'll get it tomorrow.
Start cooking.
Not yet.
Yep. It'll be the second 3D printer that I've owned, but the first one that actually
We're
works.
gonna steal that
But
ride.
that'll be fun.
It's landing.
Tried your best on that.
Ah, we did. You tried your best on that, man. that was a tough couple of days there trying to reflash the firmware on there and
What Furbs did.
Even ran a simulation. Well, let's see what you remember, Trooper. Move. Look out!
that thing was bricked.
That thing, yeah, that was
Totally
Brick
bricked.
City.
So we're coming to the end of our Halo series, given that number 5 can only play co-op if you're on your own individual console, and then same for couch co-op. Well, I'm getting. So Reach is the next one after ODST. But we're gonna need some suggestions for what the next good couch cooperative game should be. It could be an older system like Super Nintendo. It could be a newer system like Xbox or PlayStation. We would welcome some ideas. We're here
Yeah,
for
leave a
you
comment
on
below
Fridays.
and like button.
Smash that subscribe button.
Like, subscribe, all that stuff, and also
Donate bags of peanut M&Ms. That's all.
check out our social medias as well, and also hit us up there for any
Yes.
suggestions.
Oh,
Hit the like.
we'll have to kind of snake our way through here. But the package sent to Nick Arcada got dropped off at the PO box yesterday.
Oh, nice! Wow, we got there that fast.
Yeah. Well, I sent it beginning of the week before all the craziness.
Oh, that's
He's gonna
Donkey Country.
Donkey Kong Country. Oh, that'd be a goodie. I get down
Donkey
with
Kong Country. Damn it, G-Boss. Spell out the whole thing.
that. What do you say, DKC?
Just said
What'd you
Donkey
say?
C.
Donkey C. Donkey Kong Country. Yeah, we could do that. I like that. What do you think? You want to stay current gen consoles, or you want to go to a yesteryear? What do you think?
Co-op is gonna expand all over the place. Doesn't matter to me what. We
Wonderful,
have the
wonderful.
tool. Have the tools.
I ain't going back to Commodore 64. That's where I draw the line.
Well,
Doing none of
I
that.
don't have that card.
I don't know. Hot
Some people
trash.
might. Some people actually do like. Wrong all they want.
Got to allow people their vices and virtues, because just like virtues, vices, they are practiced.
We gotta vote for Donkey Kong Country. Anybody else have any suggestions?
I was thinking it might even be fun to do a little Super Mario World.
Ooh.
Ah. Yeah, I know, bro.
I mean, I do have, both do have the SNES Mini, so it won't be that hard to plug that sucker in.
I'd smash on that. Now you need to finish modding yours. Get all them good games on there.
I know, you would think I would do that at some point.
Yeah,
Because I've
do that.
soft modded my Wii and Wii.
Yeah, you should do it. You know, you can get over 300 games on there if you want. I mean, you gotta wanna. Not that you don't. I'm just.
Fortnite Battle Royale, no.
Oh, I think I'd rather try and saw my hand.
Sorry,
off
Michael,
and
but that is a big,
it's a big nope.
no for us.
Big no for me.
Like, Fortnite, like, those games, I don't like it.
The one battle royale that I did get into was Apex Legends, and it just, while you feel like a freaking god when you win a match, having to run around, collect and forage all kinds of stuff only to just get
That's the thing.
gunned down in a half second by some other team that just
Well,
was able to beat you to it.
Oof. Sorry to dash your dreams. Nothing against you, Michael.
I'm not.
You just
Everything against you, Michael.
Ouch.
But well, that
Yeah, I
about
think
brings
that's
us to a close.
wraps us up. Yes.
I don't know what level we're on presently.
Evos, if you do Fortnite, I'll try and stream. Type you, LOL. You know what? You stick to your gay hollow life. You let us handle
the crushing of the noobs.
crushing. What about Call of Duty Warzone? Oh man.
There's an idea. Or maybe even some zombies. We could try and whack through the Easter eggs. Be fun. 2-player. Oh, doesn't that sound like a blast, Gragglepuss? Oh boy.
We have some options. People have given us some options. We have Donkey Kong Country, suggested Mario, Call of Duty Warzone. So yeah, we'll just have to decide, figure what we want to settle on.
And of course, we want to thank you guys for joining us on this episode of Hot Button Co-op. This is our little Friday treat to ourselves and hopefully our viewership.
For what console? We get Warzone. Both Warzone for Xbox.
Yeah.
It would be for Xbox, obviously. Donkey Kong would be the SNES Mini. World. Yeah, but thanks again, you guys. Ejub has a zombie mode, or a PUBG. PUBG. Is that free?
Yeah.
Be free.
PUBG.
We don't have to play. I mean, the best
No.
co-op game is easily Divinity 2. I don't know about that one. I'll have to look that one
I'll
up.
tell you what, I wish they had a co-op mode for Hades. That'd be sweet. To make a second one, they need to have.
I mean, we could technically fudge it and just pass off on hate if we wanted, because that is a good gamer,
It is a
even if
great
it's not
game.
co-op.
I think I'm on 128 attempts now to escape.
Jeez, going ham,
Yeah.
harder than what I did.
Trying to complete it. 100%.
Yes. But anyway, guys, all we can just say, just look it up. It's insanely deep, and yeah, I'll check it out for sure. But thanks again, you guys, for joining us. All of our info, social media variety can be listed in the description below. Like, subscribe, and mostly just share with other people. Let's get a big following in here, because I know we would love to do this more often.
Yeah, on a more regular basis for sure.
More on a regular basis, and turns into a full-time thing. Obviously, the ideal goal.
I guess just as kind of a final note from me,
Type you on PUBG. GVOS, you're gonna be banned immediately. Keep up
bye,
that.
Miss Laura.
If you keep up that nonsense.
But it's really super easy to, through just being inundated constantly with all the negative stuff out there in the world, it's really easy to be down about it and kind of become just a curmudgeon. Just let your morale slip. And I just want to reiterate what we're talking about kind of at the height of this, is that you get to control what you see. You get to control how much of it you do see, or listen to, or read. And I guess if I could not compel, but encourage you to do one thing is, regardless of how much of social media or news that you take in general and daily, do something that is purely for you. Choose to take in something that is purely for enjoyment. Maybe it's a nap. Maybe it's going to your favorite burger joint, getting a shake and a burger and some fries and enjoying 15 minutes by yourself in a car. Whatever it is, do something kind for yourself every single day. Hopefully by the grace of God, this nation as a whole can climb out of its misery that it's presently in. Yeah.
All right, you guys have a good rest of your night. We'll catch you guys later. Should time 7 p.m. Central Time every Friday.
Yep.
Keep an eye out.
Yep. Keep an eye out for our little clips as well.
Yep.
Coming.
Gaming bits. All right. See you guys later.
Yeah.
Have a good one.